How's everyone doing? I'll just start by saying I want to thank Jed and the entire York family for their support during this whole process. And a lot of people, Adam Peters, Martin Mayhew, Parag, who just did an excellent job today. With the various trade scenarios that we were working through and eventually pulled off. I want to thank Kyle because when we're in the midst of kind of putting this whole thing together, he took the time to be there in these in all of these draft meetings, as did his staff. And so I think an extremely productive day. I can tell you right off the bat that we had a board, as you guys heard the other day, with just under 200 players. And in terms of how we rated them, we got 2 of our top 3 players. And we were able to do that. And we're thrilled, we're ecstatic. We think these guys have traits that encompass what we want to be about as a football organization. And we're, starting with Solomon, I think we see a special football player, a disruptive football player who has tremendous versatility. I think he fits in with the current group that we have because he's a little different than the guys we have. And when I think of Solomon, I think of speed and quickness and disruption. And then I know the kid. We were classmates together a couple of years ago when I was taking some summer school trying to finish up, and got to know him a little bit. And he's a special kid. Reuben Foster, I'll just be honest at times. I mean, he's my kind of player. He plays sideline to sideline, and he'll hit anything that moves. And I think that's contagious for teammates and both these guys. It's something Kyle and I believe. Where they're drafted, they're likely going to play, but they're going to have to earn it. They're going to have to come out here and show that they belong on there and on that field, and earn the respect of their teammates and this staff. And but we could not be more happy with the day, and it's just getting started. We come back tomorrow, and we've got a lot of picks, and we're looking forward to improving our team tomorrow. And I'll turn it over to Kyle.
I think John just said it about the players. I could repeat everything right there, but he said it, so we'll open it up to questions.
Anatomy of the trade, how did that come about? Was that something that had been talked about?
Yeah.
Specifics with the Bears all the way through?
Ryan Pace, their general manager, and I had a conversation probably a week and a half ago, and it was the initial one where Ryan and I, who I've known Ryan for a little bit through doing Chicago games as a broadcaster and some mutual friends. I'm close with their head coach, John Fox, and Ryan reached out and just indicated that the reality that we're going to be near each other throughout this entire draft. And, let's obviously we got to look out for our team's best interests, but to the extent that we could help each other out, let's try to do it. And, that was a week and a half ago. Then another call came asking if we had received any other interest. The answer was yes. I think it was yesterday, another call, just, talking about a specific scenario. Today, Kyle and I were focused on the players we had, and so we turned it over to Parag and Ryan, and I don't know where Parag is. Somebody else from the Bears were working on this thing, and we were fortunate in that there were other teams that were interested, and so it got pretty productive. Kyle and I were talking about it in there. Kudos to the Bears. They saw a player they wanted at a really important position. I'm sure a lot of people are going to give him heat because he's only started 13 games, but he's a guy we frankly liked. And so I give Ryan Pace and John Fox a lot of credit for making a courageous move, and we're thrilled with what we got out of it.
Did you have choices to make, other trade offers that you were weighing with the Bears trade offer?
We did.
Do you know who the Bears were trading up for? Or
no.
Okay. Did you catch a moment about that?
This guy's pretty bright, and he said, I think you could see his offensive bias. I think I'll say it. He said, "That's not for a defensive lineman. that kind of a trade. That's for a quarterback," and he was right.
John, how did that dynamic work with Parag? How much specifically had you talked to him with those different trade components, and how much, you know, leeway did he have in that decision?
We were all right there together, you know, and you know, it's, you know, I always find it really cool that Bill Walsh, you know, charged Parag at one point with coming up with our own, you know, trade chart, and so he did that, and we used it very well today. We were 2-14 team, so there's some holes, but inside linebacker we felt pretty good about already. But and Kyle and I got to the point where we felt this is a game-changing player, and I think for that you go with the best player, and that's what we did.
John, are we to infer that if you got 2 of the top 3 players on your board, that if the Bears had taken Solomon Thomas, that you would have at 3 taken Reuben Foster?
Perhaps. I mean, it was very likely.
Who's the third player? Miles?
Miles.
Yeah.
At what point in this process did you feel comfortable, or how much time did you spend with Reuben Foster to get comfortable with whatever questions you might have had, not only with the medical, but also?
Yeah, no, I'm proud of that. We were exhaustive in our you know, getting to know the kid. We met with him at the combine. We had him out here for a 30 visit. Kyle and I both spent a lot of time on the phone with him, FaceTiming, and then, you know, I think when we started to really zero in and get really serious, we sent Keena Turner and Pastor Earl down to Tuscaloosa to meet with Reuben for 2 days, and they had a tremendous visit, and we kept in contact with him. Young man's going to be disappointed. He felt like he was one of the better players, but I can also tell you that this was a place where Reuben wanted to be. He indicated that numerous times. And whether he told everybody else that, I don't know. But it felt genuine, and I think that's something we love about Reuben, is that he's a really genuine young man. He's got a smile that lights up a room, and the way he plays football is special.
One other thing that he said he wanted to come here, John, to be the next Patrick Willis.
Yeah.
I mean, what similar traits do you see in him that Patrick Willis had for this franchise?
Well, I've told you what I think about Reuben, but I hope he's the next Patrick Willis. We'd be doing really well. You know, Kyle and I were both trying to talk Patrick Willis out of retirement at Winterfest because he still looks so good, you know, and so we would not be doing bad at all if that's, but I think just tremendous athleticism at that position are some of the traits, and then they're not just trying to get people down, they're trying to hit people and hit them hard, and I think those are the characteristics, the similarities that I see.
John, what did you find out during the way where you knew you had to get above New Orleans to get to Foster?
Steve, we were trying everyone. We were going down the line, and you know, I think this is something that you know, we can talk about when Reuben's here, but you know, Reuben thought that because we were at 34, we made a trade at the end with Seattle, and you know, when I was talking to him, he said, "Coach, you know, New Orleans is taking me," and I said, "No, we're taking you," and it was hard because it happened late in the process, and so he was really excited when he found out that we had pulled off that trade, and we were certainly very excited.
You know, when we went into this draft, I felt like, you know, we wanted to get whoever we thought were the best players available at the time, but I thought it was also a huge goal of ours to add some more picks. We definitely don't think we're just 1 or 2 players away. We want to add a nucleus of people, and to be able to go through this draft and in the first day actually add some picks, which was a huge goal of ours, and to get 2 players of the caliber that we did was very exciting. So.
Expected to play kind of the Michael Bennett role for you guys. Where do you see him fitting in? Is that correct? And where do you see Reuben Foster fitting in?
Well, you know, there's 4 defensive linemen, and you know, what's intriguing about Solomon, he has the ability to play all 4 of them. So I think that's what makes him so neat. That's what I think John says. He's a little bit different than some of the guys we have because you can move him around. He has the quickness and speed to play on the outside. He has enough size to play on the inside. So you don't want to put him in one spot. You know, the Michael Bennett role, you know, it's more of a 4-eye position, which is getting into too much detail, but it's you know, that's what we like about him. We don't think he has to be one specific role. Obviously, he's a defensive lineman, but there's 4 spots he can play at, and I think that's going to depend on down and distance, whether we're expecting run, whether we're expecting pass, and the type of personnel we're going against.
Why was he
you seem to indicate he was your third guy on your board. Why, I understand you can't speak for the other teams. Why do you think he was still there at 31?
I don't know what other people's issues, were with him. I think some things, there's the issue at the combine. We talked with Reuben about that. He apologized for it. Admitted that it was a mistake. I think a lot of young people make mistakes, and I would anticipate people, maybe questioning, some of his character. But I would tell you his character, what drew us to him. When you start talking football with this young man, he lights up a room, and he's a good kid. I believe in the kid, and I think it's going to be he'll be a great player for this organization for a long time.